It's Wednesday night, and that means it's time for the Lamar Thomas Show, featuring the greatest receiver in the history of college football. Just ask them, Lamar Thomas.
I was born in Ocala, Florida. I moved to Gainesville to go to high school. Been recruited probably since the 9th grade, illegally, I might add, by the University of Florida. I still can remember Coach Solinger, Don Solinger, coming out to our practice one day. Here it is, this guy comes out in the University of Miami jacket, and I said, I can't believe that's Miami out here. And, you know, I wanted to go up and say, hey, I'm Lamar Thomas. And actually, I did walk up to him and I said, hey, Coach, I'm Lamar Thomas. And he said, I know. And that was the start of my relationships with the University of Miami.
Patton, another good block, and Toretto lays it out. Touchdown, Miami.
You come down here, you'll be on TV every weekend, dominating. I thought about it. I said, man, where do I sign? My mom, on Saturday mornings, I would wake up and she'd be holding my hand. I thought she was the weirdest lady in the world. But she was holding my hands and she would be rubbing them and saying, one day these hands are gonna make you a lot of money. She was smart.
So now, here he is, the great one, along with co-host Gary Ferman of CaneSport.com, Lamar Thomas.
Man, two things come to my mind watching that. One, thank God for Don Solinger getting you out of Canesville, okay? And then the other is, man, those cornerbacks were slow back when you played. And I could have been scoring those touchdowns.
You could have.
Holy cow, were they slow? What the heck?
That's back when you recruit guys and you move them to different positions. And then it was our job to find those guys and explore them.
It wasn't hard to find them based on what I just saw, but good Wednesday evening, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Lamar Thomas Show. And it's Florida Gator week, so this should be a good one. We've got Shane Matthews. He is the radio voice of the Florida Gators. He's going to be our special guest tonight in a little bit, but we do first have to say that tonight's show is presented by Caneswear. And we're going to get that banner going on the bottom of our screen so that you guys know where to find Caneswear. They are your ultimate authority for all your Miami Hurricanes merchandise needs. You can visit their store, 2655 South University Drive in Davie. It's only 15 minutes north of Hard Rock Stadium.
That's right.
You can make a pit stop there on your way to the game on Saturday. If you're not coming to town for the game and you still want to dress up like a Cane as you're watching it on ABC this weekend, you got a doubleheader. You got College Game Day in the morning as well. You can go to caneswear.com any hour of the day or night, and they are loaded up with all kinds of great Miami Hurricane stuff. We'll be showing you some of it. We'll be talking more about it later. Lamar's got the hat on. But it's so funny because just the way the camera works, I guess it's got Miami upside down.
Well, that's the hat. That's the new style now. I saw a couple people at the stadium wearing it.
Oh, is that really the design of that hat? I was like, wait a minute.
Style, yeah. I mean, I was going to have my alumni hat on.
Oh, okay, so it's not the camera.
Yes, and since
I
I guess the
at?
students are wearing white, why not come get you one of these? I saw a lot of people at the stadium in the morning. It kind of caught me off guard, and I said, man, I know I haven't had anything to drink. But this is the hat.
Listen,
come get your hat at Caneswear.
Think about how many years they've been making Miami hats, okay? So it's like somebody finally came up with something different. Who's the manufacturer of that hat? Can you tell?
Yeah, I don't. I have no idea. I don't know who it is, but a good idea. And I'm wearing it with the old school logo, the old school football logo. That's why I wore this shirt right here that I got from the EQ staff down in Miami. Thank you so much.
I mean, if you think about it, it's freaking brilliant. It must be Adidas. Yeah. It must be an Adidas hat.
It is. Well, it's at 47. I don't know, whatever this company is, whatever. Yeah.
I don't know, but man, I'll tell you, it's a great idea. So yeah, you guys can get that hat at Caneswear and all kinds of other stuff.
We have a bunch of stuff that we'll show you as the show goes on, but there's a lot of great stuff here. Come on down. You know, you got a lot of time before the game. It's an easy trip. Then go straight down University to the stadium and come on in here, get your wear, and they got every type of gear. If you're looking for any type of other gear, Heat, Marlins, Panthers, soccer, anything, plus the Hurricane gear, come on in here. He got it all packed up in here. So much stuff. He's looking, great prices to give it away, pretty much.
And this is the 4th straight year that Caneswear, I believe, is the sponsor of the Lamar Thomas Show. Yeah. So we appreciate them greatly. You see Lamar's in the store. So you got one angle there. You got another angle of the store behind me tonight. So that'll give you a little Caneswear flavor, and we'll talk more about them later in the show. But Lamar, we got to start off by talking about those Miami Hurricanes. Big victory over South Florida. And I'll tell you.
Well, Gary, first of all, I want to give a shout out to the fans for coming out and then still staying there to what, an hour and a half, 2 hour delay.
I think it was an hour and 2 minutes.
Hour and whatever it was.
102 minutes rather. 102.
It seemed like it was forever, Gary. Hell, by the time the game started up, I forgot that we still had to go through halftime. I thought we were in the damn fourth quarter. And someone said, "Hey man, we still got to go through halftime." So I ate 2 times. But thank you for the fans for staying out there and cheering on these guys. And that is what it's all about. You know, it wasn't, it wasn't a Notre Dame environment, but it was close. And I'm sure USF felt that, especially when they came out after the rain delay, because we weren't going anywhere. And, that's what it's all about. So I appreciate the fans. Thank you. And keep coming out supporting the University of Miami football team.
I mean, how do you not stay? I mean, you're talking about, like, we got maybe the most exciting team in college football right now, playing every game at home. I think we should just keep it going this way, Lamar. Who the hell needs road games? I mean, I was thinking before the year, whoever heard of playing 8 home games?
Wow.
But I'm kind of liking it. It's like I'm feeling it a little bit, LT.
Yeah, I'm feeling it too, man. I'm just hoping our fans will continue to feel it and still come out and support the University of Miami football team. Because, again, we're not playing Notre Dame every week. We're not playing Florida every week. There's some other games on there that still you got to come out and support them. If you want us to be able to win those games and win them going away, come on out, cheer, buy apparel, do whatever it takes to support the University of Miami football team.
As long as they don't put an upside down U on one of those hats.
I know, right?
Yeah,
you can't do that. Don't do that.
Don't do that. But yeah, I mean, the crowd's showing up. I mean, they keep announcing crowds of 66,000 every game. Obviously, there's not really 66,000 there. They're going by ticket sales, I assume.
Right.
But it's been plenty full for these games, and people are attending games to my eye as well as they have in a very long time. And people are feeling it with Miami football right now. The Dolphins are totally horrendous. So if you're a football guy in South Florida and you want to see some games, you got to come to the Hurricane games. And the schedule's so good right now. Notre Dame and Florida in the same year. I mean, that's that we haven't seen that in a long time. So it's all good. All right, so let's get into some of these individual items that we pull from the South Florida game. And the first thing that comes to my mind, and there's so many, but Mark Fletcher, man. I mean, the way he was running in that game, I mean, we've seen it before from him. I don't want to be over dramatic here, but Mark Fletcher is playing football right now at a supremely high level. He's reading his blocks very well. He's showing that he's in phenomenal physical condition. He's showing some speed. Mark Fletcher's the man right now, Lamar.
Yeah, 120 yards rushing. they're keeping his carries. They're not overloading him. They're putting other guys in there also. And every time he gets the football, he is running that ball like no tomorrow. We talked about, last week, I brought up the fact that if USF decided to bring guys down in the box to stop him, those safeties were going to have to make business decisions whether they want to hit him or not. And you see on that long run he had, the safety came down. He basically set him up, and the guy got stuck on his back heels because he was kind of bracing for the collision, and Fletcher gave him that juke move and went around him for the touchdown. I mean, he is running extremely hard. He's reading his blocks, and that O-line is blocking superbly for him. So right now, and all the running backs, anybody who gets in there has holes. I think was it Pringle. I think at the end got a touchdown. I think they're playing well, but Mark Fletcher, man, he looks like a man amongst boys, and it's fun to watch. Knowing that last year and the year before he was hurt, then last year his father passing away, and this year just coming out, just having a superb year. But I think it all boils down to the fact that they're limiting his carries and not trying to overwork him with the other backs. Which you have Lyle, and you have what's the new guy name from
Marty Brown. Marty Brown.
Marty Brown, who showed up in 2 games, the Notre Dame game. So this is fun to watch, and it's great to watch him get in there, and the way he hits once he gets to that second level, it's fun to watch because he is falling forward. He is going forward. Yeah. There's no doubt about it. He is going forward. He's going to get yards, and it's been great to watch so far.
Yeah, and he's not a little guy. Like, he's a big guy, and he's like squeezing his way through the line of scrimmage sometimes. There was that touchdown run. He kind of like, had to twist his body to get through the hole. He's got Mauanoa over there at right tackle blocking, and Inez Cooper, and he's like sliding in between those two guys. And then when he saw daylight, he
set that run up because a couple plays before that, he hit that safety so hard when he came down that I think that safety decided this time he was going to try to hit him low. And by the time he realized Fletcher had given him the move, and he was stuck in quicksand, and it was a touchdown. And great blocking by the wide receivers. Give Kevin Beard a lot of credit for, and we talked about before the game, those guys being willing participants blocking. Because young guys like myself, when I was playing, and like Joshua Moore, and like Malachi, and not just those guys, but all those guys have to understand, if you block, you stay in the game. If you don't block, you come out. And what happens is, if you're in the game, your number might be called. It ain't going to be called when you're standing on the sideline. I promise you that. So they're doing a great job. Long runs, long touchdowns happen because of wide receivers, but long runs also happen because of us. Because that's when a guy misses a tackle or misses a block, and the guy makes it. So I've always said to receivers, don't be that guy that your guy makes a tackle, and now we got to call another play. So they're doing a great job.
I love that camera you got, man. It looks like you got a professional camera guy there with you. You're zooming in, you're zooming in. I got to do this and this. I got to do it myself. All right. So you mentioned how they manage his carries, which obviously is a great observation, which Mark Fletcher, going back to when he was in high school, has, typically not had the easiest time staying healthy. Yeah. So it's important. They need him in the lineup, and it's important that they manage him in a way that he's not being overworked. Mm-hmm. And having depth at running back is a big part of that. And they started out the year with Jordan Lyle, Fletcher, mm-hmm. Marty Brown, and now we're seeing Pringle do some things. Jordan Lyle got hurt. He's been out the last few weeks. Okay, he's supposed to be back this week. Now he might be the best of them all, Lamar. I'm being honest. Like, if there's a guy that you look at and say, this guy is in the mold of the old school Miami backs like Portis, McGahee, you're probably looking at Jordan Lyle. I mean, Fletcher, as great as he is he's just a different type of back. But this Jordan Lyle's got an extra gear to his game. He's back from injury. this can only help Mark Fletcher, in my opinion, because now he's got somebody else that can share the load with him. And, it might mean instead of 16 carries, he might get 13 carries. It might mean that they run the ball a little bit more now that they got both of them. I'm sure Mario would love to do that. And then you got Marty Brown, who's capable of coming in also at a moment's notice. So Miami's in real good shape from a workload standpoint, from a quality standpoint, LT, at running back. And I don't get the impression these guys are jealous of each other or mind sharing the load. It's a pretty together group.
Well, anytime the carries are pretty close together, it's not disparity as far as like one guy's getting 80 carries and the other guy has 10. You know what I mean? They're all around the same thing, 15, 13. I mean, they're all getting their opportunity to run the football, and they're running behind a damn good offensive line. A damn good offensive line who is playing the best football right now that in a long time I've seen the University of Miami, their O-line. I mean, Coach Mariball is doing an outstanding job with those guys. I think they've done a good job of building a cohesive group that they look like they're playing well together. And as a whole, I think the University of Miami, this seems like a closer team as far as guys are communicating. And when we talk about the defensive side, I see a lot of communication now. And that's one of the things I think that hurt us last year. Guys didn't seem like they were communicating. We got misalignments because guys weren't communicating. But I see in this style of defense, not meaning to change subjects, but I mean, it is fun to watch. They're tackling, they're covering, they're communicating. The D line is humming. Linebackers are making plays. I mean, this is fun to watch, man. It's fun to watch.
And I've been telling people this isn't a peak a football team that's peaking at the beginning of the season. I mean, you still have maybe your best running back who hasn't been playing, who's coming back. You might have your best wide receiver, as good as those receivers have been playing, LT.
Yeah.
JoJo Trader was supposed to be the best of them coming into the season.
Right.
It's hard to imagine him doing any better than CJ Daniels and Malachi Toney, but he's supposed to be the most athletic, the most explosive one of the entire group. He's supposed to be back in the equation this week for the Gators. Carson Beck, there's no signs that the level of his play is coming backwards, nor the offensive line, like you just mentioned. But this should be an offense that is far from peaking. Elijah Lofton's another one that's a great football player who hasn't done a damn thing yet. Literally nothing. Okay. And I know a lot of people are bothered by that. But it seems like the sky's the limit for this offense moving forward.
Well, I think one of the things too, if you can't put pressure on Carson Beck, he's gonna light you up. And he is what I think he's like 79% completion record.
Yes.
And I mean, hell, if you let him sit back, then that's overall. That's not even when they're not rushing. I mean, that's overall. And he's lighting people, he's lighting you up. If you can't pressure him, he's a game manager. So, you can't do the same thing. USF found out you can't do the same thing that they were able to do against Lagway, who's like one of the worst in the country, when you don't pressure him. You let Carson Beck sit back there. I mean, he threw 2 interceptions. The one, there was pressure, and he threw it. Okay, that was a bad pick.
Bad play.
That's what I'm talking about.
He had another bad play earlier in the game on the right sideline that he got away with.
Yes, but the second pick, I think it was a spacing deal where 2 receivers were running close together, and Malachi jumped up and tipped it. But you let him sit back there, he is going to pick you apart. And if Florida cannot get any pressure on him, it's going to be a long day for the University of Florida Crocodiles. Yeah,
he might be 79% overall. I think he'd be at least 90 when it's a clean pocket. He is so accurate. And one of the things that when I obviously only saw him live for the first time after he arrived at Miami. I didn't see him live when he was at Georgia. His ball placement is phenomenal. I mean, he's NFL level ball placement, and he knows where the ball needs to be. Like you look at that pass the other day on the sideline to CJ Daniels. He put that ball the only place he could put it where only CJ Daniels could get to it. And CJ made a great catch. Yeah.
That was an awesome catch. That play Carson Beck will now have confidence in CJ anytime he throws the ball up. As a quarterback, they're looking for confidence. If they think that they can throw it out there, they'll throw it out there blind to you because they know that you'll try your best to make the play for you. That was a hell of a catch. He threw it where he gave him an opportunity. I've said it before. I've never seen a pass completed out of bounds. He gave him an opportunity to make that catch down the sideline, inbounds, and he made that play. Well, I think it might have been on SportsCenter.
Yeah, and it just jumps out at you like every pass he throws is where the receiver can catch it in stride and do something with it. And it doesn't matter if it's 25, 30 yards down the field. You think about back to that one touchdown in the Notre Dame game to Tony, down on the goal line there. He's like rolling left and across the body. He's putting the ball like
he led him perfectly away from the lurk. And that was a beautiful throw. So you remember I said after the first week, I was thinking maybe $1.5 million. I think I've moved it up to now he's worth about 2.5, maybe close to 3. And if he beats up on them Gators, them crocodiles, I might have to go and give him the $4 million. I might have to go.
You're gonna pay him his whole NIL.
I might have to give it to him. I might have to give it to him because he has with this team and with the weapons, these first couple games, he's shown why and what he was able to do at Georgia. Maybe not in the latter part, but he played in some big games and he was able to complete a lot of passes. And if he has receivers that he trusts, he's deadly. I think the latter part of when he was at Georgia, there was a lot going on, and I don't think it was a trust issue with him and the receivers, and that's probably why they didn't excel.
And now we got to talk about another element that he's brought to the game, and that's his legs, Lamar. He was running the ball in that last game, and I know old school guys like yourself and me, we're having heart attacks watching that because we understand, man, like why we have so many other things going on. Why expose him?
Gary, I can tell you this. So I got to give it up to the offensive coordinator for he did that little T formation that he has. He ran 3 plays in that thing. One was a power, the other was a bootleg, on the short yardage where Carson ran it for the touchdown, and then they came back same type of play action and made the cornerback. He had to pause, and they were able to complete the ball in the flat. Now, also, that was great ball handling. See, you got to practice that ball handling because he was able to hide the ball from the defenders. So that was a 3-play series set up off the same formation that they practiced, and great ball handling. If you look back on that play, the defender he had no clue. None of them had a clue where the ball was on the run by him and also by the touchdown that he threw. So I held my breath on the one where he got hit. He got rocked. I think his pride got him up. But I was like, I was going to go down to the OC and say, hey, man, don't do that one again, dog. But he has shown that he can run, but let's stay away from that right now. Let's stay away from that. The national championship game, you run all you want, dog. But not right now. Not right now.
Yeah, it's but he seems to love it. Like he's been teasing Shannon Dawson. He walks into the meeting room, he draws up quarterback run plays up on the board. He's been baiting the OC to let him have a chance to run the ball. He clearly loves it. But he's so valuable to this team. And they have so many skill players that he can reach out to. And so I'm personally hoping they don't run him that much anymore this season, but my guess is they will. All right. Yeah, they're not listening to you and I, Lamar.
No.
I mean, we've seen starters in the game in the middle of the third quarter against Bethune.
Oh my God.
I mean, there's nobody scared at all. I mean, we're running Emory Williams inside the 1 minute mark of the fourth quarter the other night to get that tack on touchdown. And so there's nobody worrying about too much over there, but that could be a trap too.
Yeah.
I'm just saying, it could be a trap. You got to be careful.
Be careful
Because the last thing you want is to even lose your backup quarterback.
Yeah.
Like, what the hell is Emory running the ball for? Games, what, 40, it was 42-12 at that point? Like, I don't know. All right. Anyway, but we don't want to be, it's hard to be critical of anything when it's going this good, but it is always a trap when things are going so great. You know, you got to like keep it level, man. It's like it's very fleeting, this game. All right, we've been talking about all the receivers, and obviously CJ's showing out, Malachi Tony's showing out. Josh Moore just got his first 2 touchdowns the other day against South Florida. Amazing,
man.
And then there's
wait, hold on before you go on to man from BYU. I got, man, I love me some Josh Moore, man. I went to watch him in high school. We talked about that. And what a great player. I was so happy for him to get his first touchdown. Then have another one. I went over to him and said, I told you, it was going to come. And what a great kid.
Great kid.
And, just he had that look of relief. Like, hey, I finally got it. And then I was thinking to myself, man, you think he might score 3 touchdowns? Now, you got to understand something. That 3 touchdown thing is very serious because there are a bunch of us tied for the 3 touchdowns. The most that have ever been scored by receivers, I think 3 touchdowns. And I think I got mine on against Texas Tech as a sophomore. So there are a bunch of guys that have maybe like 4 or 5 guys stuck on that 3 touchdown thing. And I was like, man, I might have to say, welcome to the club, man.
They stopped throwing it. They stopped throwing it to him.
They did.
They knew that Lamar did not want erased from the.
Hey, I'm tired with about 4 of the guys, so they'll be like, welcome to the club, man. Welcome to the club. Welcome to the club. But go ahead. I know you're about.
But yeah. I mean, they're all getting their share of the action there. The one that has really amazed me, LT, is Keelan Marion, the transfer from BYU, because he came here as one of the nation's top kick returners. Okay,
yes,
he was coming to breathe some life into. I mean, let's be honest, some pretty mellow, stagnant special teams. I mean, we haven't had a return game really since Berrios left. In my opinion, it's like there just hasn't been a lot going on in the return game. So Marion from BYU was one of the nation's best last year. He comes in here to help out in that regard, but that wasn't his agenda. It's obvious his agenda was to evolve as a complete receiver, and they're giving him that opportunity, and he's taking it and running with it. 6 catches last game. I mean. And he's been so consistent. Yeah,
Beard, man, he's sitting back when he is smiling because, we talked about. So last year, 2 years ago, he was being held hostage, right? Then last year, he had guys that he played those 4 or 5 guys, and he had that core, and they did a good job. This group right here. This is a group of guys that are playing their butts off, and being around those guys on the sideline, I haven't seen any sour faces. Guys are blocking their asses off. They're playing for one another. They're cheering for each other. He has a great group, and he's walking around with a big smile right now because I talked to him before the game, and I said, hey, I think this game's gonna come down whether we can make plays, because I thought that. USF would say, hey, let's stack the box. We got to stop the run. Let's let them see what they can do on the outside. And I thought those guys did a hell of a job making plays against that secondary who, I don't know, are they better than Florida? They might be. I know DBD has done a great job there at USF coaching those guys. I know Florida has Kamani McLean. I don't know. We'll see. But I know Beard right now is very happy, and he's doing an outstanding job, and he got a good group of guys.
All right, so they're all doing great. You got about five of them at least that are like really showing out, and now you got JoJo Trader coming back into the mix this week, and JoJo's the guy that everyone's been waiting to see play. Really, as a Miami Hurricane, got a little bit of action last year, but he was believed to be wide receiver 1 coming into the season. Yeah. And he hasn't been healthy, and these other guys have been doing great. Now he's coming back into the mix, Lamar. How does that impact everything?
Well, I mean, it's just one more. Can I say bullet in the chamber these days? I don't know. That's just one more guy that that adds to that receiving core. You know, hopefully, and I would think just being around Kevin Beard and the way he does things, guys will continue to compete, and that's what it's about. If you compete in practice, he's gonna put the right guy in the game that deserves to be in the game, and that's what it boils down to. What a lot of people don't understand is that it's competition every day, and that's what Mario has wanted. You know, when you just got one or two guys that are just the starters, that does nothing for you. You got to have competition where they're afraid of the guys behind them. That makes them play, that makes them practice harder, that makes them do everything right because they're afraid of the guys behind them, whether on or off the field. So to have that group of guys where you have depth, that only enhances them. And they're not scrub guys, they're good guys. You know, like you said, bringing Marion on, that only enhanced that group. And now, again, you got another guy that Florida's going to have to worry, not just Florida, but every other team is going to have to worry about because they haven't seen him yet this year. But I'm pretty sure a lot of Florida kids on that team, they know who he is.
Yeah. And even like Tony Johnson's been doing well when he's been able to play. It's just, you know, there's only going to be so many reps to go around, and it's going to be interesting to see how they manage it. They've done a great job so far spreading the ball around, making sure everybody gets touches and everybody goes home happy. It gets tougher and tougher as you add more numbers to the deal. You only have so many plays a game. And like I noted earlier, you know, Elijah Lofton, the tight end, is one that hasn't been involved at all in the passing game. And that's got to become part of the agenda at some point here. You know, so we'll see how that goes. All right. So the defense, the offense has been doing so great. We don't really talk a lot about the defense, but they've been playing pretty well too. But the one thing that has been a surprise, because I watched all through the preseason in fall camp and spring practice, those DBs are vastly better than they were a year ago. I mean, they're very much improved, but they gave up a bunch of deep balls the other day, LT. And how does that happen? Like, how does is it just attention to detail, letting little things slip, maybe getting too active with your eyes in the backfield and losing the discipline of your coverage?
Well, you know, for DBs, when you have a very active pass rush, sometimes they kind of rely on that pass rush to get there, and they go on timing. And so, yeah, you can get lured to sleep a little bit. Like, there's no way they're going to be able to get this ball off, you know? I know when I was playing with all those great defensive linemen that we had, you know, we set back in zone because we knew with the pass rush was going to get there and they were going to have errant throws. This coordinator, he plays a little bit more aggressive, not a lot, but there are some opportunities where they do come up and challenge. And yes, you know, we were able to, they hit us. But I think on the majority of them, it's been really good coverage. You know, you got to give the other team credit. Guy makes a great throw, guy makes a great catch. So I can live with that, especially when it's not happening that much. You know, unfortunately, you know, again, we saw it happen a lot last year, a lot. And so I think this is a whole different secondary. I mean, even though one or two guys are back, but having those veteran safeties, the guys that are in there, and having some more depth at corner with Brown, Federico, I mean, they look good, man. They look good. And hey, again, the one catch, like the one kid caught on Frederico? That's what I call him, Frederico.
OJ Frederic.
Yeah, Frederic. The one catch, that was a hell of a catch.
Yeah.
Against Notre Dame, that was a hell of a catch. You know, it happens. Guys make plays, but as long as you can limit it, every now and then they're getting, well, I hate to say this in college football, but it is today. They're getting paid too.
Yeah. They are. There's no doubt about that. Hey, one guy that's really been showing out on the defense is Chase Smith. He's Willie Smith's son, and he always had this type of potential. He just was always hurt. Just really struggling with injuries. Yeah. But now he's healthy. And I think he really benefited from the change in hierarchy with the Miami defense, because everybody was on an even playing field. There was no favorites, there was no starters. You know, you got Corey Heatherman coming in. He's just evaluating everything. And when he walked into the linebacker room, where he happens to be the coach, and he sees this big, strong Chase Smith kid, he's like, hello, you know, who are you? Oh, I'm Chase Smith. He doesn't care that the guy's been hurt for the last few years and hasn't played much. He's like, I got to see what this kid can do on the field. Chase Smith is delivering.
Well, he showed up a lot of my notes. I mean, you know, he came back from tough injury. I remember last year I kept saying, who's the dude in there with the freaking knee brace on? Get him out of there, you know. But man, this guy is making plays. He had a big tackle on 4th down. I mean, he's just making plays all over the field. The linebacker crew is making plays. You know, you're old reliable with number 31 in there making plays. He's all over the place. But you know what? I saw last week, he went out the game, and I think it was I can't think of his name. He came in and it was like no drop off. And that's what you want. You know, when Miami was playing at their best, it's when the guy behind you came in the game and there was no drop off. There was no drop off. I saw the guy running. I think it was number 32 last year or something like. I don't know. He's a little linebacker. But hell, he made 2 plays while he was in there, and 31 got his ass back in there quick. That's the whole thing. That's what happened back in the days. Now, so Mario is trying to go with the same blueprint of having depth, but you know, obviously they got to stay healthy, but having depth that if one guy goes down or one guy needs a break, there's no fall off, and actually the guy behind might even be even better.
Right. All right, let's take a break here for a moment now, and let's hear from our friends at Caneswear.
Welcome to Caneswear. New store, new items, same great experience. Family owned and operated since 2010, Caneswear has the latest merchandise from the Miami Hurricanes, Miami Dolphins, Florida Panthers, Inter Miami CF, and more. Come visit us at our store in Davie on University Drive, just south of 595, or online at caneswear.com. Caneswear, the spot Miami fans shop.
Do they still have those shoes in there tonight? Those
Hey,
shoes
can you bring me those shoes
last week? We got to show everybody those shoes again, man. Those were one of the nicest pair of Miami shoes I think I've ever seen.
They're sweet. They're sweet.
But you see, I'm going to go to. I'm going to put Lamar here on a wide shot so you guys can get a better view. If I can get everything to work properly.
Okay, so these are the shoes that every Adidas team is getting. Their team, I saw them online. Most of the teams get these shoes right here. They come with, this is like a ball marker. I might use this for my ball. I have these shoes. Thank you to the EQ down at Miami. Thank you, appreciate it. But these shoes right here, woo-wee, fresh, funky fresh. Look at this. Suede, the old Adidas. Got the Hurricane on it with no pipe. We don't do that no more. And look at this. These are the shoes you want right now. I mean, both of them. These shoes. I can't wait to get some of these right here now. These are smoking. And of course, we got some of these shirts right here. Okay, we got the Jason Taylor shirt. You know, it got the sleeves. It got, you know, no sleeves. It's a Jason Taylor shirt with the hoodie. That's what we call the Jason Taylor shirt. Obviously, the Mark Fletcher. Got to get the Fletcher Jr. shirt. Boom. And then we got the straight out of 305 shirt. Come and get it. And then, hold on. Look at that. It's a little tank top there, old school right there. Boom, get that. Okay. And here we go. We got 2 more shirts. We got this one. Let's see if I can get that in there. The camera's moving. There you go. Gators cry. All right. Hurricanes, Gators cry, and here you go. Now this is also the Jason Taylor shirt with sleeves. The man has his own shirt. This is nice right here. And they have these shirts in here. I don't know how they get these shirts in here. Look at this. Now this is a shirt somebody might think you play for the University of Miami if you get one of these shirts right here. They sell them in here. This is a shirt that the alumni gives us. Jessica Green and Rick Rimmer. We get that shirt when we do camps and stuff like that. So come on in, get you some of this stuff. I mean, we got it all here. We got shirts that
if it says legend on it, it means you're wearing it every morning when you leave your house, because you want everybody to know that you were a legend.
And well, you can wear the shirt yourself. You can wear it under your suit. You make you feel like you're gonna go to work and be a legend.
Yeah. You gotta get Shane Matthews one of those in Gator colors for him too.
Well, he is a legend. He is a true legend.
He's a legit. But yeah, Caneswear, 2655 South University Drive in Davie, 15 minutes north of Hard Rock Stadium. You can stop by on your way to the game. They got everything you could possibly need: shirts, polos, hats, magnets. They got they got Panther stuff too.
Well,
a public signing. We might as well tell the Panther fans about that. They have a public signing with some of the players on different days. Matthew Tkachuk on October 8th, Sergei Bombrowski on February 8th. Oh no, October 8th. Bombrowski on September 21st, and Sam Bennett also on the 21st. So check them out. They got Panthers, they have Dolphins, anything you need, they'll hook you up at Caneswear. They got sizes for men, women, babies. They even dress your pet. So get to the store at 2655 South University Drive in Davie, or check them out at caneswear.com. All right, LT, we're getting ready to shift gears here because we got a real special guest tonight. Obviously, none of us are Florida Gator fans, but I always appreciated watching this guy play when he played for the Gators, and that's Shane Matthews, and he was a two-time SEC Player of the Year back in 1990 and 1991. He was a three-time selection as an All-SEC quarterback, second-team All-American in 91, a Heisman Trophy finalist. He completed more than 700 passes for over 9,000 yards and 74 touchdowns as a Gator. He was in the National Football League for 14 seasons. Anybody that survives in the NFL for 14 seasons is not just a talented player, but a special human being as well. So Lamar, before we bring Shane on, though, I did want to ask you. You grew up in Gainesville.
Yeah.
Okay. Mm-hmm. You had every reason to be a Gator like Shane. Gator football was part of your culture. Growing up there in Gainesville, as well as seeing a lot of Miami, Florida games. And Miami got you to leave. How did that happen?
Well, I mean, I hate to admit this, but it's the truth. I was a huge Gator fan growing up in Ocala, Gainesville, and I watched them religiously. I saw a lot of the Miami, Florida games. I remember throwing ice at Jimmy Johnson and hitting him in that hair, and it didn't move. But I remember Jarvis Williams hitting Melvin Bratton coming across that field, cheering for Jarvis. But, I made one of those decisions where, that was best for myself, not even my family. The decision was based upon what was best for me. I saw Emmitt Smith about 3 weeks ago at Derek Brooks' golf tournament in Pensacola, and he told me, "You made the right decision." I mean, I'm coming in as a freshman when he's already established, and I want the football just as much as he did, and he deserved it. He was All-American, in high school, the Player of the Year, and I was one of the top receivers in the state. The top receiver in the state of Florida, one of the top receivers in the country, but they didn't have a quarterback, and so they didn't have a Shane Matthews. So I made a decision based upon what was best for me. Norman Sloan, the basketball coach, decided. And Kenny McCraney, who was an assistant coach, told me that Norm Sloan wanted me to play basketball and basketball only. Well, Florida, I love going to Florida and I wanted to do both, but they weren't going to let me do both sports. And Miami, told me I could, just like the rest of the schools, and that kind of shook everything. But what really hit me hard was when I made the decision and I had to fight to, first of all, get out of there unscathed. As far as my grades, There was a scatter of booze at my graduation. I graduated in O'Connell Center, by the way. And also, I tried to get a job there in Gainesville. Now, I have never had a job, Gary. Never had a job. But I think it was Chick-fil-A, it was McDonald's, and Burger King. And all three of them came back with the same thing, said I was overqualified. What the hell? So at that point, I had to turn my back and be all in at the University of Miami. So I'm not truly a Gator hater, but when we play, we got to kick that ass. That's all.
Shane Matthews is the color analyst now on the Gator Sports Network, so he knows Florida football obviously as well as anybody in the country. He also was the quarterback coach of the XFL Orlando Guardians when you were the receivers coach there, and T-Buck was the head coach. So you guys have spent a lot of time together. So we thought we'd have a little bit of a reunion here now tonight on the Lamar Thomas Show. So let's bring him in. Shane, welcome to the LT Show. We're glad to have you, and you appreciate you being here tonight.
Do I get a pair of those ugly ass shoes to be on the show?
Hey, I'll trade you for some Jordans because I know y'all got them.
We got a lot of Jordans. There ain't no doubt about that.
Hey, I don't mean to. Gary, we got to give him his due. Now, he was not just the quarterback coach; he was the offensive coordinator.
No, well, hang on a second. That was after the first 4 games we couldn't score.
Well, you know what? There's a lot of things going on in Gainesville. Maybe they should make you the offensive coordinator because it's kind of like what was happening with us.
Yeah, it's not good right now. We're struggling offensively. I'm not sure how good our defense is. We haven't played a decent offense yet. I think Miami will test us for sure. But offensively, we got problems. We scored 2 touchdowns, I think, and I don't count the Long Island game. That was one of the worst teams I've ever seen in football.
Well, Shane, I got to tell you, I've been calling them Long Island iced tea.
That's about what they were. A lot of high schools in Georgia and Texas and Florida could have beaten that team.
So what do you think the problem is, Shane? I mean, first of all, we always do this. And I feel like you're part of the family. So before we get into Florida, I always have to ask guys why on this show, why they attended or why they decided to go to the University of Miami. But your family, to me, we became very close. We spent a lot of time together trying to figure out what the hell T-Buck wanted. So you need to tell our viewers, why did you go to the University of Florida out of Pascagoula, where you guys won a championship or 2 with you, T-Buck, and Kes McCorvey. Why did you pick Florida?
Yeah, so I actually grew up in Cleveland, Mississippi, up in the Delta, up in North Mississippi, and my dad was a high school coach, athletic director, and then he got offered the Pascagoula job after my sophomore year, and we moved down there just because it was a much bigger school. I was recruited by a lot of people in the South. I took my visits to Florida, Florida State, LSU, and Texas A&M. And people was like, why didn't you go to Ole Miss or Mississippi State? Well, I grew up an Ole Miss fan. My dad played at Ole Miss. My mom was a cheerleader at Ole Miss.
Wow.
So I'm a Ole Miss rebel.
Right.
But it wasn't for me. They ran the Veer back then under Billy Brewer, so it wasn't a good fit for me. And I narrowed my choices to Florida and LSU because I wanted to play in the SEC. And honestly, I have no idea why I chose Florida. My mom loved the academic portion of it. And Galen Hall was the coach that recruited me. In my first 2 years, I didn't take a snap. If they'd had to transfer portal, my ass would have been gone. Gone to Ole Miss because
right.
But my parents were like, look, whether you play or not, you committed to them, you're going to graduate from the University of Florida. And thank goodness they hired a guy named Steve Spurrier.
Wow.
I didn't even know anything about him. And I follow college football, but being a Mississippi guy, I didn't know much about Florida because they didn't have statues. They didn't have anything with Spurrier. So he gave everybody an equal opportunity to show what they could do in spring ball. And I was buried about 5th or 6th on the depth chart, depending on which day of the week it was. I was that guy they always sent down to the running backs, right?
Yeah.
That's never a good thing when they send you to the running backs.
No.
Then they started sending me to the tight ends, and John Reeves was the tight end coach, All-American quarterback at Florida. Yeah. Played a long time in the NFL. Mm-hmm. So he kind of took me under his wings, and I got an opportunity in the spring game in Jacksonville, threw 3 touchdowns, and the rest was history.
Wow. You know, you had some weapons, man. You had. Let's talk about some of those weapons. I mean, that receiver, it was stacked.
Yeah. So my first year, I had Ernie Mills, who played in the league for a little bit. He was a track guy, and honestly couldn't catch the football.
But he could run.
Coach Spurrier got there, and he ended up catching like 15 touchdowns his senior year. Had Terrence Barber, Trey Everett, Jack Jackson, and Willie Jackson were my main guys.
Right.
Kirkpatrick was my tight end. And then once I graduated, when the dudes really came. Right?
When the dudes came.
Yeah. Mike Friedel, Quezzy, that whole crew. So,
that's right.
You know, thank goodness Coach Spurrier showed up at Florida, or who knows where Florida football would have ever been.
Well, one of the things about his offense that I saw, you know, you name those guys, he was able to me, he was the king of finding the mismatch.
Yeah.
And so you talk about those guys. I mean, none of them really stood out, but they caught a lot of passes because Coach Spurrier's offense, as I saw from the play calling you were doing in the XFL, it was all about finding that guy, finding that mismatch and exploiting it.
Yeah, you know, there's a weakness to every defense. It's the play caller and the quarterback's job to find that weakness. And that's he gave us the opportunity to change the play anytime we wanted at the line of scrimmage. And you know, we screwed up sometimes, you know, called the wrong play. But, yeah, it was all timing. You know, route running was key. You know, you had to be at the right depth, balls coming out on time. And, I mean, y'all did it very well also, right? I like to give Gino – he was on my show this morning or 2 days ago, I guess. I like to give him credit. I was like, dude, all you threw were hitches and go routes.
That's pretty much it. We throw a post every now and then, but
right.
Yeah, he just launched that thing. I don't even know if he had the right drops. He just launched it.
Yes, he did.
Well, you know, so when we were in the XFL, Shane, again, you became the quarterback. You were the quarterback coach who 4 games into it became the coordinator. And what was that experience like for you? Had you ever been a coordinator before, or you know, how was that? What was that like to be named? Well, we actually didn't name you. You know how that went, but becoming the coordinator in a professional setting.
Well, it was fun. I mean, I called plays in high school for about 10 years. Had some really good high school quarterbacks, including my son, and put up lots of numbers. You know, and that was the only time I had any experience. And then when you and T-Buck asked me to be the quarterback coach, I was like, yeah, that'd be fun. And then I had to learn an offense that I still ain't figured out. So when they asked me to call the plays, I had to use somebody else's terminology, but try to translate it into my terminology in my mind.
Right.
And it was fun because what people may not realize if they didn't watch the XFL is like almost all the skill guys had headsets. I can't remember if it was 5 or 7 players on offense had headsets. And so literally, like the players would joke around like, Coach Matthews, you're up there playing a video game. Because I would literally tell the quarterback and the ex receiver, run an out route and throw it. Because I could see what was going on up there.
Right.
And it was fun.
Right.
Obviously, I would have liked to have won some more games. We had obviously the big upset of the team that went undefeated until they won the league, I guess,
right.
The Washington Generals or whatever they were called, Defenders,
yes.
Yeah, so it was fun. I enjoyed it. Obviously, I would have liked to use my own terminology, which we kind of got to as the season went on, but it was fun because I mean Lamar had to kind of translate what I wanted done to the receivers, and we had fun doing it. We had
a lot of fun. It was a lot of meetings. One thing I got out of Shane, Gary, Shane was he was not going to lose the game in meetings. Put it that way.
I didn't meet a lot.
That's what I'm saying. When we met, he said, "All right, we're done."
We're done.
Okay, guys, we're not going to sit in here for 4 hours and overthink this. We're going to watch what we need to watch. We're going to talk about what we need to talk about, and then you guys go. You're professional. You guys go and do whatever you need to do, but you already know what to go over. And we didn't sit in meetings long, and I like that about Shane.
Well, I got that from my head coach, Steve Spurrier.
That's what I was going to.
We didn't meet a whole lot at all. I still today tell people we didn't even have a playbook. We had 3 sheets of white typing paper with little boxes drawn, and he'd handwrite it. He'd staple it together, fold it up, and say, "There's your playbook."
But in the NFL, you had a few meetings.
Not with the Redskins. Now maybe we only won like 7 or 8 games that year, but it was the same.
It was the same.
He's the guy that if anybody ever did a documentary back in the day, watching how he coached at practice, how he ran meetings, they'd be like, "How are we losing to this guy?"
Right.
Because he did it his own way. And Bob Stoops, who coached under him, went on to Oklahoma and kind of did the same routine. It's football. I mean, some people make it too damn complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Get your work done and go home.
Yep.
Some people want to sit in the office because Nick Saban or somebody said you got to stay there till 2:00 in the morning.
Right.
I mean, you're just beating your head against the wall.
Correct.
So that's my philosophy in coaching. Get your work done, have fun, and go home.
And he did it. And I know as the receiver coach, my receivers thanked him.
Yeah.
Because they were trying to get out of there as fast as possible. But
no doubt.
We had a great time. And, you talk about coaching. Right now the University of Florida is going through where this is a big game for your head coach. A huge game for the program, but more importantly, a huge game for him and DJ Lagway. Tell us a little bit about what's being, maybe reported up there, and talked about up there right now.
Well, it's a huge game. We have this 4-game stretch. It started with LSU, at LSU, at Miami. We had a bye week, and then we are home to Texas, and then on the road to A&M.
A&M, yeah.
I mean, it's brutal, right?
That's brutal, man.
And that's not even counting Ole Miss and Georgia and Tennessee and Florida State.
Wait, you get a break with Kentucky, who lost to Ole Miss by 7 points, and should have won the game if they could throw the ball.
Right. So it's a brutal schedule, but I thought, all summer long, if we could go 2-2 in that 4-game stretch, would be pretty damn good. If you went 3-1, you're playing with house money. So we're still got a chance to go 2-2, but we have not played well offensively. DJ's struggling big time. DJ came on the scene late last year, throwing the ball. We were a really good running football team, and so teams had to play a lot of man coverage and put the extra guy in the box, and it allowed him to throw deep post and crossing routes. And Lamar, I tell people this all the time. The easiest throw and the safest throw in football is down the field. You make one read and you just let it go. He did a really good job last year with that. Team studied him in the offseason, obviously.
Yeah.
South Florida played their safety. They played old school cover 3 and put their safety at 22 yards deep and said, "You ain't throwing it over our heads."
Yep. I talked to the DB coach from there, and I brought it up on our show that their game plan was to make him throw it around the yard.
Right. And he's from last year and missing all of spring and pretty much all of fall practice until it's pretty much about the week of Long Island.
Wow.
He had no 11-on-11 action. And you can beat Tom Brady, you still need 11-on-11 action because you got to have bodies flying around, find passing lanes, read the coverage, where's your head position against zone, all this type of stuff. So having said all that, he struggled there, but his fundamentals are really bad with his lower body.
Yeah, that's what I was going to ask you, Shane. I mean, last year he struggled with the footwork and accuracy. Don't look like it's gotten any better, man.
It hasn't, and I don't. They teach the fundamentals, but I don't know with him missing so much time due to, he had a calf issue this summer, so I don't know how much that limits him. But Lamar, these guys go to these private so-called quarterback guru coaches around America.
Coaches, yes.
It ain't none of them ever played a down of football. And they all teach all this crazy ass off-platform throws, right?
Right.
Where you step here and you sidearm it.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to practice that, in my opinion. It gives you bad habits. Because if a guy comes to the A gap and I got to get rid of it, my natural athletic ability is going to go, boom, I'm going to throw it sidearm. to hit the
to get
shallow
around
cross,
it.
hit
Yeah.
the high, right? I don't
Yeah.
need to practice it. And I just think it's given. I mean, not even just him, but Arch Manning's mechanics
he's
are terrible.
terrible.
It shocks me. But
Yeah.
everybody thinks they got to coach him up to be Pat Mahomes. Pat Mahomes, that's just Pat Mahomes.
Right. Right.
So that's the biggest issue right now. You cannot play. I mean, it's no different than playing wide receiver. You can't have false steps. You can't do this. You can't do that. You can't round your break.
Hey,
it's all the fundamentals.
Remember the receiver we had from Miami, that Rambo we were going to cut because he wouldn't come off the ball.
Right.
He was doing some foot guru stuff where he was doing some stutter stepping, and finally I told him, because you said, hey man, if he can't come off the ball, we got to get another guy. And I said, bro, you got to stop doing all that and just come off the damn ball, because you're making the quarterback go crazy. He doesn't know what you're doing.
Yeah.
So
it
goes back to what you just said about these gurus that these kids go to, and they're probably paying money to them and they're making money, but they're really hurting these kids as far as teaching them the fundamentals of the game.
Exactly.
So it is obviously you got a lot of season ahead of you and some real tough games. Where does DJ Lagway go from here? Does he get this thing straightened out as the season goes forward?
Well, it's going to be tough sledding Saturday night. Let me tell you that. I think Miami might be. I wasn't real sure going into the season, but now that I've seen them play Notre Dame and South Florida, the D line and the O line, there's some big old dudes and they're physical and athletic. My goodness. So we've struggled in pass protection as well, and our D line has not had I don't know. I think we've had 1 sack in 3 games.
2, I think 2.
Is it 2? Something along those lines. We haven't pressured the quarterback like I think we need to. But I think the O-line, I mean, Gino was giving me the measurements of these dudes, 6'9", 6'6", 340, 6'6". My buddy's son is the smallest guy on the offensive line, Brockermeyer. I played with his dad in the NFL for like 8 years. But it's going to be tough. I think Miami's clearly the best team that we've played so far.
Well, you talk about your offensive line. They're playing decent. I mean, our strength is our D line and our O line. But the biggest disappointment, I think personally, is besides the quarterback, is your D line. A lot of people had these guys rated as the top D line in the country coming into this thing, and they haven't shown up.
Yeah, they haven't. I mean, we've only given up 2 touchdowns in 3 games. I don't count the Long Island game. LSU, I think they're number 2 in America, or number 3, depending on what poll.
Yeah.
That is the worst LSU team I've seen in years.
I wasn't impressed, man.
Yeah, now I don't know how good their defense is either. We did, when you throw up five interceptions, that makes the defense look great. But I think LSU is going to lose 2 or 3 games once they get into Alabama and Ole Miss and some of those teams. But the game Saturday night to me is, again, we're going to be in a tough environment. The stadium will be packed. I don't know how the crowd noise will be there, but it won't be like Tiger Stadium. That place is insane.
It won't be like Tiger Stadium. This is,
but it's
to me, Shane, this is another SEC game for you. I think we built this team to be an SEC team with big offensive linemen and big physical D linemen that can run.
I agree. Like I said, I wasn't real sure, but after I saw the physicality against Notre Dame, I thought going into the South Florida game, after watching them against Boise didn't play real well. They had a lot of turnovers, but Boise was in the backfield all the time making plays. Their quarterback just made them miss and would make these crazy runs. I'm like, we're going to dominate their offensive line. But we didn't. I don't even think we had a tackle for a loss or anything in that game. So I said that Miami, I thought, would dominate them, and y'all did up front. So the trenches are going to be key Saturday night. Both teams have tremendous skill guys, dudes that can run. Yeah. It's whoever wins that battle on the O-line and D-line will win the game.
Well, Burnell Brown is playing. He's had 5 returns for over 20 yards this year. Burnell Brown the third, I think that's his name.
Yeah, you would like. I mean, once you see him, dude, he's a player, Lamar, because I think I may have mentioned this a lot in our meetings when we watch tape. You know, you're not playing Pop Warner here. You know how guys sometimes try to outrun people from sideline to sideline, especially on punt returns, because they're so used to doing that on Friday nights.
Mm-hmm.
He does it, man. He's got that knack of making one move and getting vertical and splitting the defenders. But he's a playmaker. I saw Elijah Williams, former Gator, who coached Vernell down in Orlando Jones, I think it is. I saw him this summer, and I just asked him because I'd heard a lot about him. He goes, he's a combination of Ike, Kwesi, and Riedel.
That's pretty damn good right there.
Yeah,
that is. So what I saw of that kid is a guy that was well coached.
Yeah,
and he's an athlete that can run routes. He's a football player.
Yeah,
but very explosive, and I think he's going to go down as one of those guys that you just mentioned in the same breath. I really liked him coming out of high school. Actually, I think we're recruiting the quarterback from Jones. Is that right, Gary?
Yes.
So I got a chance to see, and I'm like, damn, Brown is good. He's going to Florida. Oh, damn. But
yeah, his granddad played here. His dad played here.
Yes.
His uncle played here, I think. And he's a really good player. He's very polished for a true
polished.
freshman.
That's the word I was looking for. Polished receiver. Beyond his years, we have a kid like that, Joshua Moore, who we think of the same way. He's not as fast as Vernell, but he's to be a freshman, and Malachi Tony. We have two freshmen that you'll see on Saturday that should impress you.
Well, the Tony kid, I'm very, very familiar with. He's a good player.
Yeah.
Now, Shane, but this is a desperation game for Florida. You know, the program's reeling right now. You know, they've lost two. The gauntlet coming forward. Billy Napier obviously is called into question, even though, I mean, it's really an impossible task that he's kind of been given here to be, from my perspective. But does this team, I mean, you're around these guys every week, and like, how's the heart of this team? Because I think if the Gators have some heart, this is going to be
it's going to be
a dogfight. Yeah,
they're going to play hard. They're going to play hard. These guys, they believe in Billy Napier. I mean, you look at what happened to us last year. You know, there was talks about him being fired with about 4 or 5 games left, and then we won all 4.
Yep.
We upset LSU. We upset Ole Miss. Now both those games were at home.
Right.
Those two teams kind of, Lane did what Lane does. You know, he was 1 for 5 on 4th downs, and gave us opportunities.
Hey, he was staring in the stands at the young girls.
That's right. But so they kind of went through this. I think most of Gator Nation kind of thought, you know, we win the last 4 games and we end up 8-5. Win a bowl game against Tulane. 90% of their team was in the transfer portal. They had the worst college quarterback I've ever seen playing ever in that game. So everybody was excited because of the way the season ended, and everybody stayed with Billy. He didn't lose the team.
Right.
I don't think he's lost the team yet. I think these guys – now, if we were going out playing Mississippi State this week, you know, who knows? But it's Miami, right?
Right.
You know, it's like I was talking to Gino. He and I don't understand the Miami-Florida thing because he's from California. I'm from Mississippi. We never played each other. So we don't really get it. You know, but it's funny how, like, the old Gators can't stand Miami.
Correct.
Miami. I asked Gino, I said, does Miami hate Florida or Florida State more? He said Florida.
Yeah. Because you took us off the schedule and we didn't get a chance to play you. Florida State is more of a respect thing, and we both gang up on you and say we both hate you. So
right. See, I look at it, I hate Florida State and I hate Georgia.
Right. Yeah. See, those are your rivals. So we we didn't get a chance to play you guys. And you know, with I wanted to because I'm from there, but at the same time, you know, I get what you guys were saying as far as taking us off the schedule to play an SEC schedule. I get it because I didn't realize that until I started coaching in the SEC.
Right.
And it's a brutal conference now. Brutal competition.
Especially this year. You look at their schedule this year, and
Right.
I hate that Miami and Florida don't play every year, but if I'm running Florida's athletic department and I'm looking at this schedule that they're playing, like, how do you play anybody out of conference?
And think we only play 8 SEC games right now. Next year it goes to 9.
9, yeah.
Man, that's crazy. And
It's brutal.
Again, we hadn't built our team to be like that. Mario, I think he's kind of taking that blueprint from maybe Saban to build a team to be built like an SEC team, because it starts in the trenches. That was, to me, everybody has these skill guys, right?
Oh, there's no
everybody
question.
has skill guys. But when you see big guys that can move, Gary, like you see in the SEC every week, this is what Miami has done. They've developed, they've paid for and developed. I wouldn't say developed. They've paid for an SEC trenches. I mean, and it's amazing to watch because, you saw what they were able to do against USF, and you saw what they were able to do against Notre Dame. So this is going to be fun to watch. I still think it's going to be a good game. I mean, I that's just my opinion because of the rivalry. And I don't know how many fans that are coming down to Gainesville. I kind of put on Facebook, hey, to all my Gainesville friends, would love to see you this weekend. I'm not getting too many people saying they're coming.
Well, they may never got a ticket, first of all, because majority of the Gator fans are probably coming from the Orlando, Tampa, where all the big boosters come from. I think it'll be a great. I think even though where we are at 1 and 2, I still think our fans will show up because they hate Miami.
Yeah.
And they already bought the ticket, so they might as well go.
Now, Shane, I got to say this to you, man. So I was telling Gary off there that you and I will forever be connected. And Gary had no idea what the hell I was talking about. Unfortunately, you threw an interception to Langham that got Alabama into the national championship.
Yeah, yep. They owe me a ring.
Correct. And then I turn around and give the ball to George T because Alabama made it to the damn national championship. So we will ever be connected. But you know what, Shane? I say this to people who ask, who might even say something to you. This is how I answer people. If I'm on 1 or 2 people, or maybe a handful of people's highlight film, I feel like I won because there are a lot of people on my damn highlight film. It happens. That's part of playing the game, man.
Yeah.
You played the game. You were 2-time. I always joke with you, 3-time SEC Player of the Year, and it happens. You can't win them all.
No, and people may not know this, but the first ever ESPN 30 for 30 documentary was on the play that changed college football.
Yep.
Meaning the SEC came up with this great idea, Roy Kramer, the commissioner of the SEC championship, East versus West.
Yeah.
The coaches were raising hell about it because they had to play an extra game. Alabama was 12-0.
Yeah.
Or either 11-0.
11-0. Yeah.
We were 8-3. We were not very good my senior year, but we won the East. So we had to go play this extra game. Whereas in the past, before these championship games, Alabama would have already been in the Sugar Bowl,
right,
guaranteed to play for the national title. And they had us 21-7. We tied up 21-all with about 2:10 left. You could hear a pin drop in that place. And then I came back and we ran a smash concept and I fired it out there. And obviously, Monty Duncan went a little deep, but it was a bad read. Pick 6. Out of all the interceptions I threw in my entire career in high school, college, or the National Football League, the only one that was ever run back for a touchdown.
Wow.
Really? Wow.
Either I made the tackle or one of my teammates usually did.
Wow.
And I thought I had Langham too down the sideline, but as soon as he cut back, that old terrible turf at Legion Field, it was frozen. I just slipped. And so I had to go to 2 years ago at the SEC championship game. They have these legends from every team, and they do a great job. And it's a great weekend. Go to the game, but Greg Sankey comes, and they speak and everything, and then they have somebody from that class of legends speak on behalf. Well, they chose me to do it. So I got up there and I told Greg Sankey, I am still waiting on my royalty checks from every one of these damn SEC championship games.
He should give you a royalty check, man.
And I should get a royalty check for the ACC championship game, the Big 12 championship game, because if we had won that game, there would have been no championship game.
Correct. That they took a chance.
I'm very responsible for everybody being happy in college football right now.
Except for me. Me and Gino.
That's right.
Well, I tell you what, man, I think it's going to be a good game. You'll be up in the box. I'll make sure I come by and try to find you and say hello.
Yeah, I'll roam around on the field once the team, gets there. I ride the bus from the hotel and like to walk around the field, and then I'll eventually go up to the box.
You still throw any passes out there?
I have not thrown a ball probably since the damn XFL. They put too much air in the balls. Them damn Nike balls I don't like either.
Well, Shane, we appreciate you coming on, man. Thank you for taking your time, and I will be on your show in the morning.
Yeah.
And thank you so much, man. And I want to say good luck to you guys, but safe travels down here.
Yeah, it's going to be a good one. And like I said, I think Miami's got a hell of a team. I think Mario's done a great job, and should be fun. Hopefully we can show up and play some ball.
Well, thank you, Shane. We'll see you this weekend.
All right, guys. Y'all take care.
Thank you, Shane. Yep. Shane Matthews, everybody. Legendary quarterback, really. I mean, you lasted in the National Football League all those years, and obviously had the great career with the Gators before that. That's a guy that's got something going for him, and now he's the color analyst on the Gator Sports Network. So, he's got to be a little measured, in what he says to us, Lamar. And we didn't put him on the spot. No. But I also think that he's playing a little bit of possum, because I really believe that this Florida team is coming down here this weekend and laying it all out there.
Well, Gary, I think that he kind of led on to that by saying, last year those guys jumped on Napier's. They jumped on it for Napier. They decided, no, we're not going to let you get rid of our coach, and they were able to go. Was it 6-1 or 5-1, whatever it was.
Mm-hmm.
So I think they're in the same position. This is an opportunity to right the ship. You got a top-ranked team at home on national TV, College Game Day. You can't ask. I'm pretty sure that's what they're telling their guys. Hey, you got an opportunity to right this ship in one game.
Yeah,
and if you do this, it's going to be legendary.
Yeah, and let's put it in perspective. I mean, they probably weren't beating LSU at LSU in a night game at LSU.
No.
Okay,
even a bad LSU.
Yeah, even a bad LSU. And the only reason we know they're bad is because Shane told us they're bad. And he's obviously looking at it from a different lens than most people. But the thing that really screwed them up was losing to South Florida. You can't lose that game. You're playing them at home, that you're out of conference.
I don't think when they saw that schedule, they said, we're losing to South Florida.
No, they had that sort of that's a W. They had the W penciled in, and that's what can happen to teams. They'll play that WL game before the season, and it doesn't work like that anymore. And they got caught.
Yep.
And that's what's put them behind schedule here, because if they're 2-1 coming into this game, it's not the panic in the Gator Nation that they're sort of feeling right now. I mean, but now they got you got Texas and Texas A&M coming up after Miami.
That's a brutal schedule, though. That is
they're staring at 1-5 if they don't pull off a miracle here. Yeah,
quickly get 1-5, and so now you're definitely trying to decide on if you want to keep the coach or start over. I mean, it's now you take a chance on losing the guys you have, the recruits. It's a whole big ordeal, and the buyout. I don't think Florida really worried about the buyout. It's just the continuity of the program with changing coaches.
And you have to say, I don't know what his buyout is. I haven't really researched
it. Like 20-some thousand, 20 million.
20 million, you mean? Yeah. So you got to spend $20 million to buy out your head coach. That's $20 million you're not spending on players in today's world, and that inspires a lot of people to keep their coach.
Yep.
but it's not a good situation at all. And that's why I just think that from the coaches down to the players down to the janitors in the building over there in Canesville.
Matter of fact, I believe you. I was about to cut you off, but go ahead.
No, I mean, I just think it's circle the wagons. Like, we're going down to Miami and we're not going to get our butts kicked. And I'm expecting a very competitive football game. I mean, it would be nice if I'm wrong, but I'm expecting a real competitive football game on Saturday night. I hope the Canes are, and I know Mario's not going to let them not prepare. But they need to be ready for a dogfight, maybe the best one of the season so far.
Well, it's funny you said everybody in the building, and you said the janitors. Well, my buddy owns the company that cleans up the building, and he told me today, we're going to kick your ass. I said, Rodney Young, you must be out your mind. I said, are you coming to the game? No, of course not, because you don't believe that shit. So, didn't mean to cuss, but you don't believe that. So, but everybody is riled up. They think that this is an opportunity for them to right the ship, like I said. And I think, like you said, they're coming down here. They're going to give it their best shot. And I think, and I'm hoping that Mario has those guys ready for them giving it their best shot.
Yeah.
And if you give it the best shot and you take their best punches, like one of the plays that I think was a key in that USF game was when they tried to double pass and we tackled the guy. They set up the double pass and it didn't work. Yeah. He didn't even get the ball off. The safety had him covered so well he couldn't throw the ball, and he got hit by like 5 guys. So when you take their best shot or they try their trick play and it doesn't work, it's what are you calling on the sideline? How do we get through this game? And Miami's done a great job so far.
Yeah, so they come back from LSU and they start turning on this tape of Miami, and they're like, damn, these guys are good. And they know they can't just go out there and keep doing what they've been doing. So, Billy Napier, DJ Lagway, they're sitting down and they're looking to change it up a little bit. He threw 5 interceptions last week. He's not seeing the field well. He's not throwing it well. Shane talked a little bit about that. And I think they're going to bring a little bit of a different offensive approach into this game, and Miami's going to have to adjust to that. It just makes sense to, get Lagway's percentages up, maybe throw more hitches, maybe more screen passes, just different things that don't require him to drop back and get smashed by Bain and Mesidor. And when we were talking, we were kind of in agreement that one of the big keys to the game is going to be the Miami defensive line against the Gator offensive line, because Florida's going to game plan for the D line. Like they got to have a plan, Lamar. And, those guys are going to have to, figure it out, I think, as quickly as they can.
Yeah, obviously I think that their O-line is going to, right now, they're probably having some sleepless nights because of what Bain and Mesidor and Moulton, Lightfoot, and it just goes on and on and on right now. Those guys are playing. They look good. They look in shape, and they are relentless. That third down package is unbelievable. But the whole thing for University of Florida, like you said, they're going to have to try to figure out a way to get Lagway in some type of rhythm, and where he feels comfortable. Because he hasn't been able to complete passes when there's no pass rush.
Right.
And so how are you expecting the guy to complete passes when
there's a
pass rush? So this is going to be very interesting. Hell, maybe that's his thing. Maybe he needs a pass rush. But I think we're not going to not rush him. We're going to let them dogs go, them hounds go and pin their ears back, and we're coming in there to get sacked. So, maybe he's a better thrower under duress, because he hasn't shown that he can throw the football around the football field when nobody's rushing it. Everybody's just dropping back and trying to say, hey, DJ, complete a pass or two. And once you do that, then maybe we'll sense some pressure.
Yeah. Before the season, when you were looking at potential weaknesses on this Miami team, defensive line, because of the tackle position would always come up in conversation. And you kind of knew, you know, Bain's healthy now, and he's going to get back to being the Bain, an improved model of the Bain that we saw as a true freshman. Mesidor is healthy now. When he's been healthy, he's always been a very good player. So you knew you had it at end, but you just didn't know what was going to go on inside. And they've done a great job of managing this whole thing. You know, they got Moten and Blay that they started the tackles.
Yeah.
And Moten, who consistency has always been his issue, but you're not asking him to be a 3-down defensive tackle. You're asking him to be a 1.5 down defensive tackle. Sometimes he'll be in there on second, sometimes he won't. And then you're bringing in Lightfoot, who you know, was recruited for his athletic ability. And, you know, he's not ready to be an every down defensive end yet, but he certainly can come in a passing situation when you got Bain and Mesidor out there too. And then the other guy that they've been bringing in, who I think is on a very rapid ascent, Armando Blunt.
Yes.
He is rising fast, folks. I mean, this kid, the light bulb has come on. He is playing with crazy intensity, and he doesn't have to be a 3-down guy either, so he can just let it rip when he comes in the game, and he is violent. You know, when you watch practice, they do all the drills on the pads, and they work on their hand motion and stuff. And I always thought like Mesidor and Bain, you could always like it felt different. It sounded different when they were hitting the pads. This Armando Blunt kid, I'm telling you, I mean, he hits it, I think, harder than they do. I mean, this kid is a strong young man. And my only regret with him was that he used the year eligibility last year doing absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
I mean, I know maybe he would have been a 3-and-done regardless, but I would have preferred to see him redshirt. But man, this kid's going to be gone from here before he's done a whole heck of a lot. And that always hate to see that, but it happens in today's world.
Well, you know, again, what Mario has put together, and you got to give some credit also to, you know, bringing Damon Lewis in there with JT, you know, a guy that's been in the league, you know, I think he was a first or second round pick, if I'm not mistaken, and has coached in the league, and you know, he gives a different perspective. And the whole thing that I've heard is that their defensive coordinator listens to the rest of the coaches, and so they kind of put it together, and you know, it becomes like a group defensive deal that they have going on, and that's a good thing. As a staff member, you got to feel good that you have some type of input in the game plan, and they trust you to put your input in, and it brings cohesiveness to your staff. When one guy's just going in the room drawing up his own game plan, you don't feel like you feel like, what am I here for? Except to coach my guys or make sure they don't get in trouble. But when you're able to help in that game plan, it makes you more into it. And also when you teach the guys, you feel like you're giving your part of the game plan input to them also. So I think it's a good deal. Mario has been teetering around with staff. I think so far he's found the right mixture, and kudos to him.
It's finally all come together for Mario Cristobal in terms of staff. The new DB coaches are really good.
Yes.
Heatherman is a absolute grand slam home run and a really good dude, like Lamar says, and that's why the chemistry is so good with the coaching staff. And they're working great together on both sides of the ball. And Mario's got to be happy because putting together a coaching staff is not easy. And it has been especially difficult for Mario here at Miami.
He's picked some bad ones now.
Yes, he's been through some bad ones, but now this one has come together, and I'm sure he's going to do everything he can do to hold on to these guys for a few years, because it is pretty special what they got going on in that building right now, and you really see it in the culture, Lamar.
Yeah,
I mean the culture, and everybody that comes out there notices it immediately how dialed in everybody is.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's the most important thing. When you have, again, everybody dialed into the same, everybody's shooting towards the same goals there. When you talk, I think we should give some credit to the strength staff too, because those guys look entirely different than they did last year. I don't know what their diet and the nutrition or the workouts, they look like they're in better shape this year
They are.
on all phases. Where the O-line, they're not big and sloppy. D linemen, they're not big and sloppy. You got guys looking trim, lean. I mean, they look like an entirely different team, man. Entirely different. So kudos to the nutrition guys over there or gals and the strength staff. I think they've done an outstanding job. It's a total package over there. So far, so good.
Yeah, exciting times at Coral Gables, but you can't take it for granted. You can't let your guard down. They learned that last year.
Yeah.
There were several games last year. You had a generational quarterback. You had several games. About 5 of them were life and death to the final minute. And if you're getting in those kind of games, you're not winning them all. Okay. So they got to just stay focused, and every opponent they got to take seriously. And it starts this Saturday where, like I said, the Gators, I think, are going to come in very determined to play a good football game. And I think it's going to be a good football game. All right, LT, you got anything else before we go to word association?
No, let's do it, man. I think it's been great, man. That Shane Matthews was really good, man. Good dude.
He's phenomenal.
I like giving a whole insight on the opponent, because
that was great.
We can go with our own little insight, but there's somebody who sees that team on a day-to-day basis. So I think you guys hopefully enjoy that.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, so I'm going to throw a few things at you here. Let's start with Florida Gators.
Old Gainesville, man. All I can do is smile. I grew up a Gator fan, but I am not a Gator anymore. And I don't cheer for you. Don't care too much for you. I got friends and even some family members that are Gator fans. But it is what it is, man. That little song y'all sang in the fourth quarter, that Tom Petty song, "Don't Back Down." You need to go back down. Don't even come down. How about change the words to "Don't Come Down"? Because ain't no happiness down here, dog.
I wonder if the game goes well for Miami, if they don't throw that song up on the speaker in the stadium.
It's petty as can be. It could happen. That would be priceless. That would be priceless if we did that in the fourth quarter. We sang it with them. Hell, I know when it was 41-17 game, I sang it with them. I sure did.
Yeah, that would be. Remember Cooney last year doing this thing on the field? Yeah. You think they're showing that in the Gator film room this week?
They got to find everything they can to get them motivated. Hopefully, and again, we've said this in years past when we were playing Florida State, when we weren't that good. You got to find a way to get these kids motivated, because some of them don't know about the rivalry, and you got to somehow find a way. And, it's up to them. It's up to Napier and his staff to try to find a way to get the Florida Gators to come down here and give us a good game. And it's up to Mario to have our guys say, I know you're coming down here. We're going to step on your throat and, destroy you. And if he does that, then this game is over.
I'll tell you, the other clip they're showing up there this week for sure was all the Miami players telling they were walking by the recruits last year, telling all the recruits, "Hey, come on down, come on, you guys don't want to go to school here."
And they got to also show the. They probably also are showing all the Miami fans that were simulating humping the Gators, the statues. That was a highlight of my day.
It was an interesting trip to Gainesville last year. That was fun. It was fun. No argument, man.
Hey, I'll tell you one thing I didn't do. I didn't think about slapping or defacing the Steve Spurrier or Tim Tebow trophy statue. That is off limits. You can do whatever you want to that Gator, but you better not touch them two. You going to jail in Gainesville.
Yeah, no doubt. All right, let's see. How about Carson Beck?
Carson Beck, hey, we paid $4 million. You've shown that you are well on the way to earning all that $4 million. You are a true game manager. It's going to be interesting to see if they're able to put any pressure on you, if you can make those throws that you still have been able to throw with no pressure on you. You're the opposite of DJ Lagway. If they don't put pressure on you, you're going to pick them apart. He will pick you apart.
Yes.
Now, what happens when you put pressure on him? We will see. You had that one interception.
He breaks
pressure,
down.
He breaks down a little bit. So hopefully we will see. And it's up to Florida if they're going to put pressure on us now. We have to win at the wide receiver position or running back. So.
And the running backs, I believe, are going to have to do a continued good job, and they've been doing a good job of blitz pickups because I find it hard to believe that Florida's defense is going to just sit there and let themselves be picked apart. Like,
well, they're ranked 131st in pressure. Their pass rush win percentage is 103rd. 103rd. Sacks, they're ranked 123rd. I think it's 131 teams in college football. That's pretty bad.
So they figure to try to bring some extra guys.
They're going to have to. And so that means one-on-one, or if they're doing zone blitzes. Maybe they're going to do some zone blitzes. But if it's one-on-one, it's up to our guys to be able to win the one-on-one battles. And if they do zone blitzes where they're dropping guys out, you got to be able to be disciplined enough to sit in the holes, and Carson has to be on point and hit you in those voids.
I mean, the way that they've been sharing the ball, spreading it around, man. Like I feel the Gators, saying, "Oh man, we got to get pressure on Beck." And it's true. If you pressure Carson Beck, he becomes a much lower percentage quarterback. No argument. You can look at the numbers going back a couple seasons. They will back that up. And like any quarterback, if he's under pressure, he's not going to play as well. But it's marked with Carson Beck because of how good he is when he's clean. And we're seeing it. I mean, he's completing 79% of his passes. So you're the Gators and you want to bring pressure. Understandably, that's really your only chance. But that's going to leave some one-on-one matchups, and Shannon Dawson knows how to get rid of the ball fast. And with some pretty athletic dudes playing receiver for Miami, man, this is not an easy assignment.
Now that's a big that opens up the big plays. Anytime that happens, opens up the big plays, and I just think that we will see. I mean, again, I thought that LSU would do a better job against Florida, than they didn't. So this is going to be an interesting game, especially early, to see what type of game plan they come out with. And if Miami is able to win those one-on-one battles early or find those voids in the zone, if they fire blitz, and if they are able to, and our defense is doing what they're supposed to do, it could be a long day for the Florida Gators.
And Mario won't take the foot off the gas against Florida.
No, he should not.
He will not. He should not.
And we should not have a third quarter lull. No third quarter lull.
Yeah, no third quarter lull this year. I mean, this week. All right, let's go. Ruben Bain.
Playing outstanding. I think that he's showing the country what type of player he is. Now, Florida, we're fortunate enough to only get him for a couple plays last year. So Florida didn't even get the Ruben Bain. So they're going to get the new Ruben Bain, new and improved Ruben Bain, with a cast of characters: Blunt, Lightfoot, Mesidor, Moten. I mean, they are, those guys are ears pinned backwards, along with Ruben Bain. They are coming to spoil your lunch, Lagway.
All right, how about Billy Napier?
Billy Napier, you have a team that, your team, in my notes, I wrote an extremely talented football team. Big, long, a different team than last year. But your defensive line, who was supposed to be your strength, is not playing well. Your quarterback, who in Gainesville was the second coming of, I don't even know who, but he ain't playing well. And so with that, you lost a game in USF. You played well against Long Island Ice-T. And, you go to LSU and you play fairly decent, but you're still lost. And now you're 1-2 and you got a brutal schedule, and you're going to come down here to Miami and play a hungry University of Miami team, man, I hope there's signs you got your real estate agent ready, because if you lose this game, man, I mean, but do I feel sorry for you? No, you're getting $20 million to walk away. Put me in that position.
But he's going to get $20 million possibly to walk away.
To walk away, hey man. I mean,
but in fairness, though, like, it's not his fault. Like, okay, it's his fault they lost to South Florida. He didn't have his team ready to play. They blew that game, and you got to take all that comes with that, Billy Napier. Yeah. But like, damn, this is some schedule they got, and they just haven't been able to build their roster to the point where they can handle a schedule like this. I mean, they might win 3 games this year, 4 games.
They got Kamani McLean out there. Boy, that's a matchup I want to see right there. I just want to see one of our guys take his ass deep. I remember calling Mario saying, "Mario, drop him. We don't want him."
Yeah.
We don't want him, Mario. He said, "I know." Yeah, no, man, we don't want him. If he want to play games, we don't want him. So that is one matchup I hope that we're able to exploit him. He's a good, talented kid, but he deserves a little. He deserves a little payback. And you remember, Mario is very petty, so I think he's going out to come on.
Yeah, Mario doesn't forget stuff.
He don't forget stuff now.
No, he does not.
He don't forget going up there to see you and you're not there.
Yeah, that does not sit well. All right, so let's finish it off then with Mario Cristobal.
I mean, classmate, you got a great opportunity to continue this run. There can't be a letdown against these guys. This is their saving grace for maybe their season. We have a team that you built to win games like this. It's up for you and your coaching staff to get these guys to play to the best of their abilities. And if you're able to do that, this will carry over for this season. We can't have any letdowns. We can't have the Syracuse game. We can't have the Georgia Tech game where we make mistakes, not just physically, mentally, coaching staff wise, you wise, player wise. We can't have that. So what I'm excited about, the opportunity for us to go at home to take on a University of Florida team, college game day, many fans out there, which I know are going to come out, for us to get an opportunity to send people back 75 on that turnpike, paying $21 for their toll back to Gainesville, Orlando, and the rest of them places where any of them stinking Gators live now.
Is that what the damn tolls are now? $21?
Yeah, it's about $21, bro.
Wow.
It's about 21, bro.
Wow, that's a lot of money.
All the way up to Wildwood.
All right, well, let's take a moment and thank Caneswear again for sponsoring tonight's show. We've shown you some of the different things that you can buy there at Caneswear. I'll go wide shot with Lamar again here for a moment. Yeah, those green suede sneakers are really, really, really sweet. And that other pair of sneakers was nice too.
You want to be like the coaching staff.
Yeah, that's the one. That's the one I like. Yeah.
That's what it's the ball mark on the golf course. I might use that.
Yeah, that's a nice pair of shoes. You got all kinds of shirts, hats,
all kinds of shirts. Yep.
Jerseys, polos.
This shirt right here. It's Miami upside down. You got the Fletcher jersey. You got the straight out of 305. I mean, it's just they got a lot of gear in here, guys. Come on down. The game is at 7:30. You got plenty of hey, what time we open on Saturday? 10 o'clock.
10 a.m.
Get your behind up in here at 9:59. Come on, man. Get up in here. I'm gonna be up, but come on in here and buy something. You got socks in here.
Did that place next door feed you tonight?
Oh, well, I got by the way, give a little shout out to Mission.
Mission Barbecue. Yeah, that's right. They're in that shop. Okay. They're in that shopping center too.
We're gonna give them a shout out. I got a little pork sandwich and some macaroni and some cornbread. I'm gonna tear that up tonight. But give them a big shout out. I appreciate anytime anybody feed me. I will, hey, if you take care of me, I take care of you. Look at the Penguin. Hey, everybody. You do for me, I do for you. I love you.
And there's a pretty good sub shop next door to Caneswear too.
Well, they didn't do for me this time, so I can't say their name.
But I will. Like if you go into the game and you want to get food, clothes, all in one swoop, you got Mission Barbecue, you got La Spada. It's a great little shopping center, and then the centerpiece right there, Caneswear, where you can load up your Cane stuff. All right, we want to thank Shane Matthews for coming on, the voice, the color analyst on the Gator Sports Network. He gave some great insight into UF, and just a great dude all around. Legendary quarterback for the Gators, and spent many years in the National Football League. And we thank you guys for watching. As always, we will be back a week from tonight to talk about the Gator game, and look forward to what's next for the Miami Hurricanes as they go into an open weekend next week. For now, for Lamar, I'm Gary. Thank you so much for joining us, and we'll see you next time, everybody.
Go Canes.